Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be for you. I hope you are having a flippin' fabulous day. It feels like it's been a damn hot minute and a half since I've done one of these. Just kind of a sit down, chill out, chat about a few things, and I kind of miss it. I always enjoy it. It's always great to just be able to express those things that kind of build up within you that you just want to be able to offer. Whether it be maybe just a perspective and insight and understanding, something that's just on your mind, whatever it is, I really believe that it's always important just to be able to put it out there. And if something kind of continues to come up, you know that you've got to be able to get it out somehow. So often this is my release, whether you actually end up seeing that or not. Sometimes it's just, it's things that are within my mind that aren't going to be relevant, they're not going to be valuable, so you may not end up seeing those, but I really believe that it's always important to be able to have that outlet no matter what it may be. And for me, this has been working a charm and a half. Everything is adding a little bit of a half on top of it apparently today, but what I actually want to chat about is, it's an interesting concept. I'm about to sneeze, I'm very sorry. Alright, the sneeze has disappeared apparently. Good stuff, the sun's right behind me. Yeah, it's actually a very hazy afternoon, so we've got a lot of smoke around still from all the bushfires, but it's kind of providing a few... Knew it to be somewhere. It's providing very unique conditions, which ultimately, as a landscape photographer, I love unique conditions. Yes, it's horrifying what these real fires are actually doing and how they're impacting a lot of different people, but from the outside, being able to capture the essence of nature's unpredictability, that's something that I always do enjoy being able to really provide and present. So it's offered me a few different opportunities to capture that, and realistically it's been really quite rewarding, because it's that extra level of not knowing what's really going to unfold that I really enjoy. But it definitely is a challenge, to say the least. Really what I wanted to actually present an understanding of is, throughout what I've been doing, I have a very passionate pursuit. What it is that I do very much bases around my personal vision, what it is that I love being able to offer, and consistently making the effort to provide that to others. So that's something that is extremely rewarding to me personally, and I find it very fulfilling. When I actually capture images, that's I'd say it's like 5% these days of what I actually do when it comes to the business side of things. It's not a very large element. Like, it's a hugely important component, don't get me wrong, but it's very minute in regards to what it is that I actually do. So it's always important for me to find that balance so that I'm actually continually going out there to do what I love and not have those expectations aligned with it. And I say that very often. If you've heard me at all, you'll know that, I always go on about not having expectations, maybe having high hopes to keep yourself optimistic, but not having expectations so that you're grateful for whatever does arise. And, that kind of strongly aligns with the element that I believe in within the kind of compliments versus comparisons realms, and that's a mantra that I consistently put forward. I really live by it, and it's offered me a great amount for my own personal self. Why that ties in is more so because you go in there without expectations, and you're not going to be comparing yourself to others, because it doesn't matter what unfolds. You just enjoy the experience and you make the most of that journey that it takes you on. Recently I've been venturing outside of my comfort zone to an area down south, so Central Coast. I finished up my Port Stephens collection, it was probably about a month and a half ago now. So I'm now kind of building on it. I'm seeing what else is out there, I'm really exploring. I'm also really hoping that my audio is not just horrible, because there is a little bit of a breeze going through. As you may be able to tell, my hair's probably floating around everywhere, but you'll deal with it and hopefully find value in what it is that I'm actually offering. And yeah, just that expression alongside it. Because I see so often people who will go so hard at what it is that they're doing that they won't balance themselves. They won't find that time to actually do what it is they thoroughly enjoy. And, you know, yesterday actually I was writing down a schedule. I was writing down, you know, what I'm going to do each day, how I'm going to spend my time, you know, 2 hours. I don't have it, unfortunately. I was going to actually say what it was, but pretty much it's like 2 hours going out there and doing the acquisition, retention and referrals element. I guess more so that marketing side, you know, knocking on doors, doing cold calls, you know, warm calls, whatever it may be, just like following up on things and putting forward proposals. So all that admin side of things. And that's very important, don't get me wrong, but you don't want to get too caught up on that. You don't want that to be taking up the majority of your day. So that's where I kind of put a limit and a cap on, you know, 2 hours of that. Potentially that may tie into an hour of being able to go out there and also really, I guess, represent myself, express what it is that I love to others, potentially, you know, businesses. It's a lot of what I do is based around businesses. It's not about, you know, going B2C. It's not like knocking on homes. It's more so just walking around, seeing who I can actually meet within the realms of those who can make decisions regarding the business's future, so that I can offer something that's going to be advantageous for them, and hopefully they're going to align themselves with the aesthetic that I can offer and understand why it's so advantageous, and the passion that aligns with it, that commitment that really strongly puts me in a place. Like, this is probably going to sound like a very bold statement, but I know for a fact from my own experience what I've been doing, there's not anybody else doing what I'm doing, putting in the hours to, you know, and that consistency, the commitment within being able to build up that resilience after getting, you know, chucked on the floor, and then building it up so that you go over to the next place and you just, you know, you build that energy up. You have that positivity within the way that you present yourself, because you know within yourself that it's advantageous, but more so than anything, it's positively uplifting for others to understand when you can connect and engage them with the vision that you have personally. At least that's my kind of understanding of it, and that's why I'm able to, you know, build myself up and consistently pick myself back up from those, you know, scenarios. Like, honestly, today I had a call with a bloke, and you know, he could have just said no. Like, he could have just said we're not interested, but we ended up chatting for about 15 minutes about really where the market's going, what is advantageous, what's not, how it actually aligns with them, their business, their market, their you know, their industry, the sectors, how it's kind of going to be impacted in the future. And we just had a really great, genuine conversation discussing a few of the different things and understanding where the market's at currently and where it's going for the future. Because I think he really also wanted to help me, because he understood, you know, at the end of the conversation he said, I really respect the fact that you've actually done this, because I know it's difficult sometimes to be that person making those calls. And I was like, you know, you got to do what you got to do, and when you have something that you know is going to be valuable to others and provide that, you know, beneficial side, you've got to be able to kind of go through those difficult periods and, you know, those rejections, so that you can get to the people who are going to make the most of it and really are going to find those advantages from within it. So why that kind of is relevant is because you don't want to get too caught up within that side of things, because I know personally I have. Like, I'm still very positive about it, but I understand now, kind of taking a step back, understanding where I'm at currently, that, you know, if I continue to do that at the rate that I was, you know, I went to 500 businesses within 2 months, you know, and like there's an element of sustainability that you really have to consider, and you have to kind of delegate your time into things that are going to be advantageous. And I wanted to do that. There was a very strong reasoning behind that. There was a project that I was working on where I wanted to offer funds from that project to, you know, a charity foundation. So that was a very strong motive to do that, but it also allowed me to learn so much. And within that past 2 months, I've developed an incredible amount within my own self, within my own mindset, and within the way that I approach my business, because it's really offered me this external perspective and this extra understanding of what is going to be a necessity for others and what others really value. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be doing exactly what it is that I'm doing. I'm still going to be doing it the exact way that I want to. I think that's the greatest part about, you know, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm kind of, you know, up my own arse, but I really love the fact that I am bold within the way that I approach it, that I'm not just doing things to kind of, you know, flap around like a bloody fish, trying to just please everyone, because you're never going to. You know, you please yourself, you do what you really love, and then, you know, those that you connect with and connect with what you're doing, that's all you really need. It doesn't have to be, you know, everybody. Don't try to make everybody happy, because at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility. And I've had to learn that from like this very selfless place and this place of extreme empathy for others. I've had to be able to, you know, develop myself so that I can make sure I'm not trying to, you know, make everyone else happy, and I'm really focusing on making myself happy. And that's why I think it's so important to make sure that you're putting time into things that personally are fulfilling for you, and that you allow yourself the time to seek out what that may be. Because for a lot of people it's difficult, it really is, but it's important to try different things, to see what it is that you really find that, you know, it doesn't have to be your definition of a passion project, but it can just be something you really do enjoy and you find fulfillment from within, whatever it may be. Like absolutely anything. I've spoken about this before, it can be anything at all. But I really believe that you've got to delegate time, you've got to be able to balance that so that when you go into your business, you're able to see things with a fresh mind. You're able to have that energy that's presented from these kind of, you know, I often don't like speaking too much about the psychological science behind it, because I don't feel like it's, you know, everybody's cup of tea, but understanding that, you know, these serotonin receptors within your brain, being able to offer that dopamine hit from enjoyment, and, you know, whether it's something that is incorporating, you know, fitness, you know, activity. Like activity is such a strong one. Like that's what I personally really advocate for a lot of people. Like I just, this afternoon, you know, I very much do like to stick to my schedule. I allocated an hour, I ended up going for an hour and a half. I was just shooting hoops. I did that for an hour and a half, and I really enjoy it. I get very, very into it, very attached to it. I mean, like, if I say that I'm going to get 5 in a row, I'm going to get 5 in a row, and I'm not going to leave until I do that. That's that's the issue that I had today, because I was going to leave at 4 o'clock, and then I couldn't get it. And then finally I got 7 in a row, right on 4:29, and I was like, I'm done, out of here. Like, it's one of those things where you've got to be able to have that self-awareness within yourself, know what you enjoy, don't have, again, expectations. Like, that's extremely hypocritical of me, saying that, you know, I want to get 5 in, but I didn't get 5, so I had to get 5. Like, that's very hypocritical, but I know that, you know, for me personally, that's what I love to do, but I know that it's not going to be for everybody else. And even for me, I know that it's not the greatest. So, you know, it's just, personally, I always do have those kind of what would you call it? I'd say it's almost like those perfectionist kind of traits, and that's always been very strong within me. And I allow it to be a strength, don't get me wrong. I accept it within myself, but I do have very high standards that I set on myself, and I like to be able to complete the goals that I set, and I won't stop until I do. So, you know, there's a difference, I guess, between goals and expectations. But I guess you've also got to be able to accept when you may not achieve your goals, and then revise and refine, and then go back through it. This is my mind kind of just shifting, thinking about a few different things. This is like so off topic. Honestly, like so many people, when they create videos, they'll have scripts. I'll tell you what, I've never ever scripted anything, nor have I thought about what it is that I'm actually presenting. So you've probably been thinking, like, why is this guy so wacky? Where is some of this stuff coming from? Well, it's within my mind, and I just want to be able to put it out there. Like, a lot of it is from my own personal experience, understanding what I've gone through, understanding maybe what others have gone through. I always advocate strongly for, you know, obviously first person experiences as opposed to a secondary source from somebody else, especially, you know, if you're learn from your own practical experiences. Don't try and think that somebody else has done one thing and it's going to be the exact same for you, because everyone's circumstances are different. Everybody is different. So yeah, man, maybe I should just try once actually, like, strategizing and formulating something that actually keeps me just like key points, so I can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit them all, done. Keep it a little bit more formulated. But in saying that, I love being able to just have that free expression, not keep it within the boundaries, because who wants to just be the exact same as everyone else? I mean, alright, probably like 60% of people do, even if it's like subliminally embedded within your mind, you know. But honestly, I'm personally one of those people who just, I don't want to try and be pleasing. Yeah, that works. I don't want to be pleasing anyone else. Like, I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing what I want to do for myself. I'm not trying to please those who aren't going to be, you know, accepting of it. I don't care. Like, there's always going to be people like that. Like I said, you're not going to please everyone. I'm doing it for those who can find value within it, and if you do, then I really, really love that. Like, you know what I mean? It's powerful stuff when you can have somebody who may, you know, provide you value, but also have that relatability alongside it, trying to just be themselves, not trying to fit a mold that, you know, shave these unique characteristics off themselves just to be somebody that, you know, you think others want you to be, because that's never going to give you true fulfillment within yourself. So back on track, do what you want to do and find that balance for yourself, to also be able to offer your own mind those kind of opportunities to seek positivity from the chemistry within your brain. And just think about that, respect it. Don't think too deeply within it, but respect that it's there and acknowledge that that's what's going to be good for you, and find those things that are going to be relevant to you personally and make the most of them. See where they lead you to. See what that may develop into. You may be able to find others within a community where you can actually involve yourself and feel a part of that, and then you never really know what relationships may evolve from there. But it's important to make sure that you're doing things for yourself so that you can keep your mind free, and you give yourself that downtime within the, you know, activities that you do outside of your work, so that you can go into your work with a fresh mindset, and it's not just kind of, you know, going from one thing to the next, because you've allowed that free space to be expanded. And I think that's when, you know, when you take that time away from it, that's when it kind of lets everything just settle, and you can bring up more different kind of ideas within your mind, and that's when you're really able to continue to develop and excel what it is that you're trying to work for. But I really do believe that that's a very valuable point that you should be able to, you know, take on board and implement, because it really does provide a ton of advantageous opportunities for your own self to really make the most of what you have available to you. Like, personally, I love going out and just shooting, and I love being able to immerse myself within the beauty that surrounds us, whether I'm capturing it, whether I'm not. You know, it's something that I personally really enjoy, and I'm never going to stop that. So, you know, if you're shooting, you know, if you're shooting something like real estate, it doesn't have to be regarding photography, obviously, but if you're shooting something like real estate consecutively and consistently, make sure that, you know, if you don't passionately love real estate, make sure that maybe you're shooting something you do love, you know, like street photography, like macro photography, food photography, whatever it may be. Just don't get yourself so caught up within one specific place that you aren't allowing yourself to expand your mind. This is some terrible audio, I can already tell, so I do appreciate your time, and I will most definitely catch you on the flip side. Farewell.